Welcome to Transit. I'm Jacqueline Shields and I'm in Bendigo in front of all things a double-decker bus. That's right, an authentic bus from London, and we're going to be taking a trip around Bendigo and experiencing the delights of this country town on the London Bus Company's double-decker bus. I'm joined by Tim Bourchers, the proprietor of the London Bus Company, and these buses have travelled a fair distance to get to Bendigo.
Yes, we've got a couple of buses that have come over from the main areas of London, and a couple are from Plymouth.
So they're actually authentic?
Yes, well, we've got two that are completely genuine. The other two are sort of had a few alterations in Australia.
What would those alterations have involved?
Well, mainly to keep the engine cooler, because the engine was overheating because it's a lot warmer climate, and also the windows, all the windows open, every single window, to try and keep the people cooler.
So in London, the windows don't open?
In London, they've got little tiny slits in the windows that open, but it's a much, much cooler climate.
So where did you come up with the concept of having double-decker buses around the heartland of Bendigo?
Well, in Bendigo and in Ballarat too. I've been involved with the tramways here since I was about 11 years old, and I could see there was a big market for visitors. The trams didn't really service enough, and then when I was travelling overseas I saw these double-decker buses everywhere, and I thought, what a great idea for Bendigo and for Ballarat. We have two main parts of the business. One's a City Circle Heritage Tour in Bendigo and Ballarat, and it does regular circuits of the town for visitors with a full commentary. The other part of the business, I suppose, is the party hire, and we have a lot of fairly interesting and entertaining parties, a couple of nights of the week, all the time on the buses.
So what would some of those more interesting and entertaining parties incorporate?
Oh, well, things like everything from maybe a probus or a church group outing. We had a Let's Get Nude party. And
would you like to expand on that one?
No, I wouldn't. And we had...
because the windows are open and it's very visual.
That's right, and I think the theme of the night was Let's Get Nude, and that's what a lot of the things that were happening. But that's another side of the business here.
Tim, could you give us some information about the City Circle Heritage Tour, please?
Yes, well, it operates in Bendigo and in Ballarat, and what it does, it covers all the main visitor attractions in both cities with stops there. You can hop on at any one of the stops, buy a daily ticket, and use the bus to hop on or off during the day. So you get to see everything, haven't got the stress of driving, or if you haven't got a car, using public transport, which is a great idea, by the way, you can use the bus. Plus, there's a full... not quite a commentary, more an audio guide. It's a fully produced audio guide with perhaps a dozen different voices, skits, sound effects to explain Bendigo and Ballarat's heritage and also its present of the cities. So
what sort of attractions are there?
Well, I suppose if you come to Ballarat, there's Sovereign Hill, there's the main city area and the Lydiard Street precinct. Lake Wendouree is a place you could almost spend the day at. The Great Southern Woolshed, the Wildlife Park, quite an interesting park, and the brand new Eureka Interpretive Centre. And you can get to all these places on the buses? Yeah, on the buses you sure can. And in Bendigo there's the Central Deborah Gold Mine, our main city centre, which is also an historic precinct, the Golden Dragon Museum, and the new Chinese gardens, which are quite beautiful, Lake Waroona, the Bendigo Pottery, and the Science and Discovery Centre. Tim,
what do you think the fascination is with English double-decker buses in Australia, which is so far away? I know we've got the British heritage, but I think still today it's definitely an attraction.
It's an oddity, yes, because they're fairly rare in the country still. Their size and shape, and the fact that, you know, to get them up to scratch, because the regulations and the safety rules are very strict now, and we're governed by the same rules as a brand new coach. So a lot of work is spent on the safety side. We have yearly inspections, and it's very difficult to do and expensive, so not many people are doing it. So because they're so rare, we're doing it. Plus, the way we operate our buses, say for our party hires, they can be at their own party at 1 o'clock in the morning. A double-decker bus will pull up with their type of music blaring, and they'll hop on and away we go. It's a mobile party. So it's something completely different.
Would you say that Bendigo is actually growing as far as the attractions are concerned, and there's more for tourists to see, more input into the city as far as developing the attractions, the historical attractions?
I think that the local tourism bodies in both Ballarat and Bendigo are doing a great job, making people aware, especially in the metropolitan centres, that there's so much to see and do in Bendigo and Ballarat. And I think that the attraction operators are picking their game up, becoming more professional.
With regard to actually getting on the bus, where would you suggest people sit? Up the front, up the top there, or at the back, or if it's a cold day, maybe behind the motor? Or?
Well, the best seats in the bus, and I suppose the scariest seats in the bus too, are upstairs at the front. A few years ago when I learned to drive them, I did a shift sitting upstairs in the front seat, which I thought was going to be a waste of time, but perhaps was the scariest day of my life.
Why was that?
Well, you know, it's sort of, you go very close to trees and poles and it sort of rocks around a fair bit, and my trainer did it specifically to let me know what it was like sitting upstairs at the front.
And with regard to actually getting a job down here on the bus, if anybody's interested in being a bus driver, is it a bus driver?
Yes, bus driver. We have bus drivers and bus conductors.
Whereabouts would you learn? On the job? Are there courses you can do, or...?
Yes, I suppose it's one of those jobs we like experience, a trained driver. However, we've trained our own drivers here, but normally preference is given to people with some experience, and then we take them for a number of hours to try and get them used to the height of the vehicle, which is fairly high.
That was the nature of the question, I suppose, the fact that it's not your average everyday bus. I mean, you've got that added height, so what would the difference be with regard to driving this type of double-decker bus?
It's extreme. It's 4.4 metres, all our buses, which is the highest vehicle you can have without a permit. Plus our vehicles are operating around cities and side streets, and we have a lot of problems with trees and power wires, and really the drivers have to look up and live.
What about with regard to bridges? You'd have to know the city quite well, wouldn't you? Yeah,
there's a couple of close ones that when we first started, we drove through them late at night with one person keeping an eye on the bridge, another person driving the bus, but we pretty well know all the bridges around the area. Sometimes when we're empty, sometimes we'll just touch the brakes so the front of the bus just noses under it a bit more gently. Once you're full, the bus sits right down, but care.
For a tourist to the area, what sort of times can you expect? Like, when can you flag down a bus and jump on?
The City Circle Heritage Tour operates in Bendigo and Ballarat, you know, two of, in the gold days, two of Victoria's richest cities, every day except for Christmas Day. There's between 2 and 7 services operating a day, depending whether it's a school, public holiday or just a normal weekday.
So even Melbourne Cup Day you can jump on?
Yes, Melbourne Cup Day is a very busy day because a lot of people who don't go to the Cup come up the country.
Chicken and champagne breakfast there?
Yes, we have a lot of people hiring the buses for a chicken and champagne or cocktail evening or progressive dinner. You move 66 people around on a progressive dinner. But the City Circle Heritage Tour is perhaps the flagship. It's the real introduction for the visitors.
Tim, when the bus is full, but you've got people who tend to prefer to go upstairs, how do you know what exactly is going on?
Well, with the old buses, all old double-deck English-type buses have got periscopes like a submarine. So from the driver's seat, through a series of mirrors, I can actually see every passenger upstairs, which sometimes can be unusual and surprising to the people that are up there.
So you basically got eyes in the back of your head, so to speak?
I can see all around the bus, every seat upstairs and downstairs.
Whereabouts is the periscope?
It's just above the driver's head. Only the driver can see it. It's all designed to be at the right angle. But
or is that a secret?
No, it's above the driver's head. So when I'm sitting here driving, I can just quickly glance upwards and see all the seats upstairs.
So everybody is safe and sound? Safe and sound,
make sure they're sitting down, doing roughly the right thing, yes.
Tim, which of the services do you prefer to be involved with?
They're all a lot of fun, but I suppose the flagship service that the London Bus Company operates would be the City Circle Heritage Tour. We get so many great comments and people thanking us, and in fact, do you want to come along for a trip?
Love to.
Okay, let's go then.
On our left, the town hall. Its elaborate interior and fashionable staircase, combining with its sheer size, justified its cost to the city of £18,000 in the early 1870s.
Brings 10 weeks of performing arts, while the Ballarat Opera Festival and Eureka Jazz Festival have built enthusiastic followings.
Built in 1909, it's Ballarat's best example of large-scale Edwardian flamboyant architecture.
When they're ready.
centre. Has a fascinating collection of classic cars which let you experience firsthand the nostalgia of our motoring history. There is an admission charge to the Motor Museum. Please check the time of the next bus in your brochure before getting off. And if you'd like more information, just ask the driver.
Well, I trust you enjoyed that tour around Bendigo on one of the London Bus Company's fantastic double-decker buses. And you may as well be in London today with regard to the weather. It's a little bit dismal. So I think to warm up, in keeping with the theme, we might pop into one of the local pubs, have a bit of a Guinness and enjoy the afternoon whiling away with a game of darts.